Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sophie and today we are going to be going through the Python list method copy. I'm going to go through the importance of using this method. So rather than just saving one list to a new variable name, I'm going to go through why we should use the copy method instead. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so we're going to start with a list. I need to be a bit creative when it comes to these lists now. I'm really actually running out of ideas. Okay, let's go for chocolate brands. Okay, so Cadbury, Galaxy. What brand is M&M's? Maybe I'm just going to do M&M's, even though that's not actually no, maybe it is a brand because you're M&M World. Don't know, this is very off track. Okay, then we also want Nestle and Hershey's. Get controversial, I'm not really a huge fan of Hershey's. So if I was doing a Python list remove method video, I'd be removing Hershey's. Okay, so now we have our list and we want to make a copy of this list. So let's see what happens when we just do this. Oh, I didn't even set that to the right variable. My list. Okay, so we have my list copy 1 and we just set it equal to my list. So you might assume that this is just the same list values, but it's a new list and it's its own variable. But what we've actually done here is we have created a link to the list. So say I want to, I can do a remove. I'm gonna do remove Hershey's. Okay, my list, my list copy 1. Okay, so we have removed Hershey's here. What happened to my list though? Okay, so basically what it has done is it's not only removed Hershey's from the current list, my list copy 1, it's also removed it from the original list, and that is because of this line that we put here. And that is where the importance of using the copy method comes in. Before we do go into the copy method though, I want to show you the other way round. So just put my list copy 1 equals my list. And then what I'm going to do is my list dot remove Hershey's. Sorry, I'm really inconsistent here with my quotation marks. Then I want to see my list, which obviously Hershey's should be removed from. Now though, I'm going to look at my list copy 1. And interestingly, it has actually done exactly the same. So whichever way around we do it, these lists are linked. If we change this one, we change the original list. If we change the original list, we change the new list. And so this is where we're going to try using copy. So let's just copy and paste that here. We have my list again. Let's just check that's all good. All good. Now we're going to do my list copy 2 equals my list dot copy. And copy takes no parameters, so you just have empty brackets in that. We're just calling the method. Okay, so we've copied the list now. Let's just check my list copy 2 is exactly the same as my list, and it is, so that's all good. And now we're going to be doing, we're going to append another chocolate. What can we do? Let's get Milka. Oh, I accidentally did copy. That was a bit silly. Okay, we're going to append Milka to my list copy 2. My list copy 2 is now exactly the same. We now just have Milka on the end. So before, when we did something to the copy of the list, it did the same to the list that we had copied from. So now that we've used the copy method, let's see what's happened to my list. And interestingly, it has actually stayed exactly the same. And that is because we have created a copy. To explain that in a bit more detail, so when we're doing this, we're actually, when we create the list, we are basically creating an object and my list, the variable name, becomes the reference to that object. When we copy this list just becomes another reference to exactly the same object. So there's one object, but there's now two things which are pointing towards that exact same object. So when we apply a function or a method like remove, we're applying that to the copy and one of the variable names, and that is referencing that one object. And by saying remove, we are removing it from that object, which just happens to have two references to it. And so when we change it, it changes what is called when either of those references are called. When we are creating a copy and doing the actual copy method here, we are copying the object rather than the reference to the object. So as a kind of rough explanation, when we just set one variable equal to another, we're copying the reference to an object. When we are using the copy method, we are copying the object itself and therefore creating a new reference to a new object. And so we have those two separate objects and they are just being referenced differently. I just hit the microphone, sorry about that. That's not going to be very nice to your ears. And it's also actually facing the wrong way. Maybe the audio has been bad this whole time. Hopefully not. So yeah, as I was saying, we just create a new reference, a new object, and they have nothing to do with each other anymore. And so that is when we would use the copy method rather than just setting one variable equal to another. And the copy method can actually be used for all sorts of Python variables. So you can also use it for dataframes. That's a really useful application. For dictionaries, I believe, and I think quite a few other things. And it's just a really good, secure way of making sure you're not changing that original object. So you're almost creating a checkpoint of that object as my list here. And then this is kind of a new version of it that you can change without worrying about changing the original version. Okay, so that was a pretty short video, I feel like, but hopefully it was helpful. If that was a kind of confusing explanation, then I will be linking the code down below anyway. And so I'll put a more detailed explanation and maybe a diagram or something like that so that you could then have a hard copy of my explanation of using the copy method and why it's important. And I'll also maybe write a quick description in the description box below. Other than that, thank you for watching. If you have any video requests, then let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you in the next video.